know what else I love? When Nikola Jokic, the Joker, comes dressed as, quite literally, the Joker, because obviously Shai Gilgeous-Alexander hoping to put the Thunder up 2-1. How about this? Jokic hands it off to Michael Porter Jr., who nails the three. Spoiler alert, game tied at 69. That man was money from three. Jamal Murray to Jokic. Jokic made that one. The lead just 2 points. Then later in the quarter, we're in the third, tied at 75. SGA, Alex Caruso, that is a three to put the Thunder up 3. Back and forth we would go. Murray, nice little circus shot over Chet Holmgren. Nuggets down 1, then SGA attacking Murray. He didn't have the best shooting night, but that was effective. Thunder led by 3 going into the fourth. And by the way, as back and forth as the third was, not much would change in the fourth. It's now 93-92. Jalen Williams. Thunder up 3. Then more Williams with about 4 minutes to play with the game tied at 95. Williams to put the Thunder up 2, 97-95. Then 2:30 to play. Guess what? We're tied again at 97 because the biggest lead by either team in the second half was 5. Murray, Nuggets up 2. Next OKC possession, because they always had an answer. SGA to Williams. Williams for 3. He had 32. Thunder up 1, then 40 seconds to play. Nuggets down 102-99. Murray finds Gordon. Gordon from the corner makes that 3 to tie it at 102. Then the other end, an immediate answer. SGA. No, because you're thinking he's going to make that shot because he's SGA. He misses it. The Nuggets get the rebound. They call it timeout. He did have 18 points, but the Nuggets have the chance, though. 2.2 to play. Jokic, neither one of them can get their shots to go. Jokic also didn't have the best night. We go bonus basketball. Opening possession. Jokic making an immediate statement in overtime. Nuggets up 2. Then Murray swings it out to Porter Jr., who was 5 of 6 from 3. 21 points. Nuggets up 107-102. Williams, defense into offense. The strip by Murray. Murray the other way. 2 of his 27. Nuggets extend their lead 109-102. They absolutely destroyed OKC in overtime. 11-2. Jokic 20 points, 16 rebounds, 6 assists on what is an average night. Gordon had 22 points. Nuggets win 113-104.
It wasn't me, it was everybody. I mean, we all got to cover each other's backs, you know what I'm saying? So they're a great team. They tested us all night. And I was thinking we were able to stick with it and get the win. We've been together for years, so we knew what we had. We know what we believe in. We believe in each other. And we're going to need more of it. You know, tonight's just another step in the right direction. We know we can be better than this, but we're going to celebrate tonight with a win and get ready for Game 4.
We went out to OKC and kind of did what we needed to do. You know, we got home court advantage back. Obviously, you never want to get thumped like that and blown out like that, but we knew we had to come back here and protect the crib, up our level of physicality, and play without fouling.
Another huge shot for you down the stretch, man. I think we need to call you playoff Gordon here at this point. Like, what is it like in those moments when you're getting those opportunities?
Call me whatever you want. Just keep calling.
I mean, I miss 10 threes. I had a way to. They're aggressive, they're physical, they're handsy, they're in the string, they're playing passing lanes, you know. I mean, I don't know what they're doing because if I know, probably I'm not going to do having those kind of mistakes. So I need to figure out what they're doing. So you know, basically I was the worst player on the court today, but we won the game, and that's the most important.
The Nuggets now have a 2-1 series lead, in part because they've been clutch, outscoring the Thunder 28-11 in close games down the stretch. That, of course, includes this effort by Jokic and company when they outscored the Thunder 11-2 in overtime. So at SGA
showed tonight when it mattered the most. On a night where Jokic went 8 for 25 from the field, right? The Denver Nuggets pulled through, and it was because of the others. It was because of the other 4 core pieces from the championship team. Jamal Murray was the excellent floor general down the stretch. You had Aaron Gordon doing everything, including hitting the big 3-point shot that sent it into overtime. You had Michael Porter Jr. hitting big shot after big shot after big shot. And then you had Christian Braun. Christian Braun was so phenomenal on the defensive side of things, guarding SGA, playing without fouling. making them take tough contested shots, holding them. You know, the Nuggets tonight held them for 7 for 22 from the field. And so I look at the Denver Nuggets and I look at the difference between OKC, and I'm like, oh, that's champions right there that's closing this game. While OKC was trying to play one-on-one basketball.
City is leading in every imaginable defensive category that really, really matters. You watch them tonight, and even though we applaud their ability to get out and defend the wings, look at how they're defending Jokic. He puts the ball on the floor, and before he blinks, 6 hands are at him. They are making him very, very, very uncomfortable. Now, Michael Porter's hit shots tonight after coming into the this game, you know, shooting like 14%. He's making shots tonight. Jamal Murray is making a few shots that he has attempted. But when you look at them right now, a 51-36 advantage in attempted shots for the Oklahoma City Thunder. They are all over Denver defense.
So is that glass half full then, that the Nuggets are only down 5?
No, it's not. But let me say this.
I was going to say something else.
If you don't like this Oklahoma City Thunder team, then you don't like basketball. I'm watching a team that doesn't complain. They play agenda-free basketball. They get scrappy defensively.
Yeah.
Like, they only have 1 technical foul this postseason. Right, in the regular season.
They took it from Oklahoma City. Now Oklahoma City's got to take it back. You know, Malika, what happens in these moments, having been around it, is you win the first game and then you say, let's get greedy. Let's try to get 2. It's really hard to win 2. Ironically, we've seen that this year more than many other years.
Yeah.
But then it's human nature is to have a little complacency. That game got away from Denver
very quickly.
Pretty fast. But they're champs. I put a high value on players that have won a championship. And Denver's got a lot of them, core players. They got one, they're going home. This is going to be an awesome game tonight. I think it's going to be a great game, Denver, and trying to get these game 3s, they're always these big swing games. They dictate the series, and we're getting one tonight. Should be fun.
Well, Coach Diagonal, he must have challenged Chet Holmgren and Isaiah Hartenstein because it was night and day from game 1 and game 2. Game 1, we saw Jokic and Aaron Gordon dominate. They had 64 of the 121 points. But this game 1, I want you to see this. No resistance whatsoever from Chet Holmgren, right? Not being the instigator, he's been the retaliator. He's taking the contact. Now watch this. Watch Isaiah Hartenstein. Look at his pickup point. Look at the physicality. Look at the active hands, right? The deflections on Jokic. He had the worst game of his postseason in game 2, and it was solely because how physical they were with him. They met him early. And like the coach said, they got pumped. They really did.
Yeah.
Jokic and Aaron Gordon combined for 9 for 28 from the field. Jokic had so many turnovers. He fouled out. We saw him get frustrated. And shout out to Dagnall, too, for those Jalen Williams minutes off the bench. They were huge minutes off the bench in game 2.
Yeah, Chet got way less run on Jokic in game 2. And then Jalen Williams comes in, not J-Dub, but J-Will comes in and gets that assignment here, making all the difference in the world. 13 turnovers is so uncharacteristic for Jokic.
It is uncharacteristic, but Oklahoma City was like a bunch of piranhas the other night. They were all over them, you know. And that's why I walk in. Normally, Bob, I would totally agree with you with the scenario that you laid out, particularly considering Denver's championship pedigree. But the manner, it's not about the points. It's how they did it. They defended them. They got up in them. And they mimicked, to some degree, what the Clippers with Zubac was doing against Jokic in the opening round series. And so because of that, you saw Jokic, a minus 36, worst of his career.
Right.
In 3 quarters, fouled out, 3rd quarter. That's not going to happen again. But if you're finding a way to somewhat neutralize Jokic, because we're at 42 and 22 in game 1, that puts more pressure on a Porter, on a Gordon, to step up and produce. And that's what you want if you're Oklahoma City, particularly going into this game, because you know you ain't trying to go down to OKC. And I think that puts the pressure on them. I like the situation OKC is in right now.
I just don't. I mean, look, I'm happy to be wrong. I just don't think you can do that again. I just don't think he's not going to have a game like that.
Like that.
I just.
Yeah. But they
might not be a great game either.
Let me say this. The Nuggets have no answer for.
In this series is to feel a little pinch, a little heat. Over the last couple of years, the Thunder have basically been untouchable, but the times where they've struggled is when they've been down. This happened last year against the Mavericks, and you know they felt a little bit of pressure in game 1 here in this series against the Nuggets, and they didn't perform well. I think I've been on the Oklahoma City's winning the West train for 3-4 months. But I do think that's the position you want him in. You want him uncomfortable. And, you know, the game the other night where they got blown out, I think they made a strategic decision. Jokic fouled himself out. He basically was like, I'm done in the third quarter of that game. They had played 5 games in 9 days, including a game 7. I think Denver was tired. They get to rest. They get to come home. This gives them an opportunity to put their best foot forward. If the Thunder win and get home court advantage back, I think that gets major momentum. Big game needed from Jokic tonight.
Wendy, I'm with you. I'm going to go with Jokic. First off, it feels like, well, it should be. They should be down 0-2. Like OKC should be up 2-0. I mean, if Dagnall makes some of the right plays down the stretch in game 1, it would have been a different scenario if they secured that game. But they just didn't get beat up in game 2. They got smacked. That was a 43-point victory. I mean, damn. That's a lot of points. And by the way, Jokic was minus 36. That's his worst plus minus of his career. Of his career. So I understand fouling out. I understand the amount of games and the amount of days. But SGA has been living up to it. He balled out last game. He balled out game 1 too. I think in order to secure home court advantage, I want to see Jokic, who needs game 3 more for this series to continue, considering the way the first 2 games went.
I don't disagree with y'all, but for the sake of this discussion, let me go in a different direction because everything y'all said is on point. And I would just be adding to that. No need. Let me go in a different direction. What if the Nuggets win game 3? Then all of a sudden, everything that you just said about what game 1 and 2 was supposed to be, meaning OKC needing to be up 2-0, instead of being up 2-0, you down 2-1, going into game 4, the aura of invincibility that we've been talking about with OKC as it pertained to the Western Conference all of a sudden gets a bit diluted to some degree. We see the level of dominance. The Thunder have outscored the Nuggets 59-19 in points off turnovers in the first 2 games, 53-29 in fast break points over the first 2 games. But the series is still tied 1-1. And we saw Chet Holmgren and Isaiah Hartenstein basically, no matter how big you are, no matter how good you are, Jokic showed you who the hell he was in game 1. With 42 and 22, we get what he's bringing to the table. Right now, if you're the Nuggets, the big problem is that your best shooter is Russell Westbrook, who's shooting 50% from the field. And Nikola Jokic is at 47%. Everybody else, Jamal Murray's at 40%. Gordon's at 37%. Bronny's at 36%. Michael Porter Jr. is shooting 17% in this series. It's unacceptable. So if you find yourself continue to look that way, but you up 2-1 on OKC, and they got to go into that game 4, basically trying to avoid being in a 3-1 hole. That could make things very interesting, which is far more interesting than we anticipated. And that is why I would say, you know what? Jokic and those guys, they didn't expect, you could if you go into a game 4 down 2-1 and you could tie the series. Okay, that's plausible. OKC potentially being down 3-1. Oh, no. Nobody anticipated that. Let's go with SGA